Hang on, everybody. 26th of May. Oh, it's nice to be in your ears. This is the, or your eyes. I don't know where we're bunging ourselves right now. But the 26th of May is when this is recorded as the Daily Debrief. There we are. Beard is in the middle of a game of Madden.
Sorry.
Blake is in the middle of a, what is it? It's a glass of Johnny Walker Black. I've got my cola. And I'm all good. And you are there. Now, of course, we're all over the internet. There's many places you can find it. Tonight, we're going to get into a couple of cool things. We're going to get into the NBL draft, the Cells NBL draft, because as you know, we are in it. We are in it. The three of us. Oh, my God, you guys. We're going to be pro basketball players. It's going to be amazing. Come with us on the jersey. I can't wait for my own shoot, and I can't wait to be mean to a guy like Scott Burrell. I feel like after watching that last dance, I've got it all sorted out of what I need to do, or maybe I'll be the crazy Dennis Rodman one that just takes off to Sky City for a night during it. I don't know. It could happen. That's why, again, draft me. But
it's on Thursday. It's on Thursday, just FYI.
It's on Thursday.
Thursday,
so
we get our big moment.
Yeah, Matt Lacey's going to be with us from the Auckland Huskies, so he can talk a bit about what we've got coming up. And today, exciting day, Rugby League, because it was Team Naming Tuesday. And we're going to have Jazz Tevaga with us on the show tonight as well. But I don't know, mate. Look, so I guess Rugby League is where we go. We just check into the Hornets desk just at the moment, and I can see behind you was all good today. There's no more injuries between Team Naming and now, Blake.
No, nothing. All ready to go. And did they look good today?
Did they? Did they? Get us excited, mate.
I'm excited.
Tell
I'm
us.
real excited. I'm here. Oh, they're just looking crisp, sharp. With another 2 days of training, perfect.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And I hear that you were training with, and was there a little jiu-jitsu that was going down?
No, so I trained with some of the trainers. So obviously they started a bit later today to try and train at 3 o'clock, like when their kickoff would be. So I just had a little bit of a roll on the mat with the wrestle coach and one of the trainers. Didn't go too well. Go
into it, because we've all got jiu-jitsu stories that we can share with this, and I'm fascinated to hear just what it's like when you're a grown-ass man and you're kind of used to getting your way around your family, and you bring your kids up, and you go through probably a 10-year patch where you've stopped wrestling with other dudes, and then all of a sudden you throw yourself back into a mat. What happened?
So he taught me a lot of moves: Kimura, arm lock, shoulder lock, all these moves, and he just eased me into it.
Yep.
And then one of the other blokes sort of got injured, so I went one-on-one with him for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Numerous times I tapped, and numerous times I thought I was on top, and I go to him, he's on the bottom, and he goes, "Oh, I've got you." I go, "Bullshit, I'm on top. Like, you can't get me." And then next minute, choke me with my own shirt. Don't know how that's possible.
The gi choke.
Yeah.
Mental. And you
I felt like a little bitch. Yeah.
Did it feel like your head was going to pop at that stage? It's crazy, that feeling.
Yeah, he warned me early. He goes, make sure you tap before, as soon as you feel a bit of pressure, because if you don't and you try and hold and be a tough guy, likelihood that your shoulder or somewhere else could snap.
Yeah,
So,
I'll choke you out. I'll break you in half. It's as simple as that. You want to try and be a man, a grown-ass man, I'll break you in half. That's generally the rule of thumb, right?
Felt about that big today when I got choked out by my own shirt. Didn't think it was possible, but it happened.
It's such a great thing, and my story goes that I've told you the story about how I was supposed to meet up with a mate. He said, let's go to kickboxing. He was a great kickboxer. He told me an address in Wellington. I thought I just, when you get an address, you're like, oh, yeah, I know where that is. I've driven past it a couple of times. I've seen people in there kickboxing. And I actually ended up in the wrong gym, which happened to be an entire, like a mixed martial arts gym where they were teaching all forms of beating each other up. And I ended up in a jiu-jitsu class out of nowhere and I was sitting on the bench getting my wraps on, and the guy was like, are you jumping in? And I was like, I'm actually waiting for my mate. And he goes, well, he's going to turn up, right? So you might as well jump in and warm up with us. And before I knew it, I was doing jiu-jitsu. And the same thing happened to me. Like it's a really humbling feeling to get to this age, and then all of a sudden another man who's smaller than you, more often than not they're smaller than you, just wraps you up into a small bow, and then bink, and you're like, and you go back to your childhood when you're getting beaten down by your old man.
Well, that's what I think I'm going to have to do. Talking about childhood, I'm going to have to teach my son a lesson. I have to go out and choke him just to make him feel big again.
Yeah, so, give him the same speech as well.
But hey.
Give him the same speech as well. Yeah. When you feel a little bit of pressure, son, make sure you tap out. Don't try and be a superhero. Just so you can pass that baton of shame on. What about yours, Nato? You've had proper training though, right?
So I in my former life as a guy that got to do TV stuff, Hoist Gracie, who won the first couple of UFCs, came down to New Zealand to hold a training day. And so I managed to talk the people at TV3 into letting me go down and have a training seminar with him for the day. And it was amazing. And that was the first time we did a demonstration for the camera where he did the rear naked choke on me. So the naked's where you don't use the gi to do that. And it's a crazy one because you start to get a bit of a heartbeat on when they put the pressure on. You can't help but beat. But I'll just describe it if it's never happened to you. Just imagine that all the blood goes into your head, but it's got nowhere to go out of your head. So it's like this pressure getting pump, and then you feel it and your heart starts to go, wow. And it felt like 1,000 pins just pushing all in on your head, or like the middle of my head was about to pop right on out of it. And I could swear that I was in that hold for 10 seconds, but you watch the tape back, it's more like 2 or 3, but it felt very much like a 10 along the way, man. But it was awesome. And he's just an absolute gentleman. Mind you, when you can beat everyone up on the planet except for maybe 2 people, you can be like that. But he certainly wasn't a dick about it. But I'm excited to hear that the Warriors are going to be doing these things.
Yeah, a bit of wrestling. We're going to need it.
Yeah.
We're going to need it.
That wasn't sort of that. They do different wrestling. But I think this could help you, Mark, if you go and do a couple more sessions when you fight Kai.
I'm not fighting Kai.
Kai Kara-France.
I'm not fighting Kai Kara-France. I'm not fighting.
It might give you a bit longer.
Blake, you can keep on going down this road. It's not happening. I'm looking to be... I'm about to become a professional basketball player. There's no way I'm risking my career... I'm not risking my career in the octagon with a guy who's knocked people out and has been knocking people out for a living. So I'm going to go ahead and skip past that one because we do have Matt Lacey coming up, the general manager of the Huskies.
Boss.
Boss. That's what we're going to have to call him. I believe that there are 12 roster spots per team.
Yes.
And there's over 200 applicants. I also know that they're going to release a list, I think either tomorrow, of the top 14 ranked players where the teams... have been already.
Oh my God.
They've already been looking at the stuff, and I believe some of them have already been kind of put into teams. But basically, we've probably by the end of it, we'll probably have a 1 in. I don't know how many other applicants there've been, but let's be safe. Let's say 1 in 180 person chance of getting into a roster. One of us ending up somewhere.
Better than a scratchy.
Better than a scratchy.
Better than a raffle. It's better than everything. This one's fantastic. It's great. Look, because what do? You rank them, right? We'll get into this. I think they rank it, and where you are. I reckon. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I reckon I'm at least a 9 on some of these teams' lists.
Let's say that the top players have been sort of allocated to the teams, and they're looking to do a top ranking from the rest overs of top 14. I'd be horrendously disappointed if I wasn't maybe 7 to 10, somewhere between 7 to 10 of that ranking. Yeah. I think there's probably a chance for us to probably review how they're ranking if that is the case. If any of us have slipped out of that 7 to 10 spot, and
possibly me.
No, well, Blake, I know that it's documented that you find it hard to focus. You have off-field issues, aka drinking, and there are behavioural problems.
But he's Rodman.
But he's Rodman. Let him go to Vegas.
During the game.
Let him party. Let him get it out of his system. He's back. So long as he beats Vegas, he's back. He's committed to your team. So, Matt Lacey. Now, Nato, I need to ask you about the new rugby rules that was going hoopla all over the place today on the interweb. There were people talking about how there's going to be the scrum rule. That's one that really interests me because they're looking to... No more reset scrums is one of the rules they were looking to bring in, which would mean... two things for me. One, the game speeds up so much more because I don't know if whoever's watching right now, if you're the same as me, you would get to a game of you'd have rugby union playing on one channel and rugby league on the other, and as soon as it went to a scrum, you'd be like, right, I'll flick over and see what the league score is. This is good, and you might get trapped on the league and keep watching the league because you go back and there's always 3 or 4 reset scrums and the game is slowed down completely. So that'll stop me from doing that if there was no reset scrums.
So this is being proposed up in England, and I actually think it's more to do with how shit they're handling their COVID situation, because they're trying to figure like, okay, at least if we get back into the sport, if we cut 30-40% of it off, we can still get out. That tells you exactly where they are. Like, I know our Super Rugby teams have been training; they haven't had to drop any scrum practice, any tackle practice, or anything like that. But that was one of the ones, and it was, I think you get one reset and then you go. Oh yeah, I'm a fan of speeding that set. It's the setup that takes forever. The bit with the locks in, these in, And all they're doing is getting a sneaky rest, because it's really hard to run around and shift a lot of bodies at rucks and do that for 80 minutes when you weigh 128k. It's basically impossible. So they build those little breaks in. But the problem is that you can, you know what I mean? You can get away with collapsing scrums then. So if you're a bit weaker, you just collapse the scrum, and then you don't. The point of being on the receiving end of a bad scrum is it's like holding a max squat. So it makes your legs really tired. Like, that's the whole point of it, is to, they talk about scrum people's legs out. It's what they're trying to do. So you can take a team's juice away out of their forwards by doing that. But they also want to go in with upright
I just want one more comment on the scrums.
Stupid.
If you do have a really strong scrum, you usually have some big units to hold that scrum up, right? You've got some pretty... And if that's their use, and you take away their use, as in, look, they're only going to reset scrums and stuff like that, you're going to change the entire body shape of a first 15. Like a 15, it'll look more like league, where you don't have those massive kind of units. You kind of have them, but they'll, you always know you're going to have your solid prop, your other solid prop, and you're going to get your dirty old hooker in the middle. And those guys are going to be there, and they're useful for that purpose alone. If you're going to make scrums less important, I reckon you'll end up changing the body shape of a lot of 15s.
But you've already got leg, so I don't get why you would have to do it. And again, to me, it feels like rushed rules to try and get something out of there desperately, because the subtext to this is they've got all their premiership clubs. Heaps of them are bleeding money. They pay way overs to get players that are up there. You know what I mean? Like those contracts they get up there are massive.
Rules?
Now they're like, shit, we've got to get out here and do this. Oh, they've got it's like a kind of like the rugby league 40-20 rule.
Okay,
but I know
don't care about that one. Don't care about that one.
Yeah, they were a little bit worried, because they're like, that's a little easy for the setup. It's a little bit of a difference for the setup.
Nato, wouldn't it be smart if, like, the All Blacks, obviously best country in the world at rugby, they're starting first.
So
rugby. Why would you not test out penalties or new rules and things like that in this competition?
Oh, yeah, I think they can. Do you know what though? I reckon rugby's problem is that it got obsessed with having to tutu with its rules all the time, and I think that's where there was this one year, which I don't think you would have been here for, and it was called the ELVs, the experimental law variations. And I've watched it my whole life, and even when I watched it, I was like, what is this? Like, it was way too hard to understand, because and I think they tutued too much. If anything, like that last Rugby World Cup, it was annoying in the first week because heaps of guys were getting hit with high tackles, but as the tournament went on, that number fell off once they found out, if my shoulder hits him in the head, I'd better not. And that Rugby World Cup turned out some awesome games. So they've actually got their rules right. I don't think they need to tutu with it too much, but I do agree. Hurry the scrums up if you can. It's the setup that takes forever. So one of the other rules they wanted was an upright tackle, which seems like a concussion tackle to me. Like, I reckon if you're upright into someone else, your heads are about the same height. That seems, man, that's got head clash written all over it, hasn't it? I mean, like, can you imagine that in your tackle drills, Blake, if it was like tackle upright?
That's not. I don't even think they teach that in rugby. Like, that's pretty stupid. If you're going to introduce that at the top level where kids or people have grown up and learned to tackle, bending their back and things, it's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Matt Lacey is ready to go. Are we ready to go?
Oh, shall we? Yeah, the boss. Okay, bring him on.
All right. Admit him into the room. All right, let's put on our...
Should have my suit on.
Me.
So there we
I
go.
should have done some weights before he came on. Jesus.
Quite impress him. Just impress him by doing athletic feats during this. There we go. Okay, yeah, good. That's good.
Hang on a sec. He's joining. Hang on a sec.
That's pretty
He's
good.
joining.
Here we go. So, folks, just while we are doing this, so the NBL draft is coming up. 7 teams, 84 players. That's when they're going to get it done. 12 per roster, I think, with an extra couple of roster spots on the end.
No. I think it's 10 rostered players
10 plus
and 2 backups. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess.
Good.
Wait a minute. I've got the book. Wait. I think he's coming on.
Yeah,
it's just
you hold the ball.
Wait.
You impress him. Go. There we go. Oh, hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt. How are you, man?
How are you guys?
Yeah, good. Good. Just gallivanting.
Mate, you're in.
Yeah. Everybody, this is Matt Lacey. This is the general manager of the Auckland Huskies, and excited to have him on the show tonight. Live, Matt. So whatever you say will be recorded around the world, will be quoted back in all the papers. So just a warning: make sure you put on a real official kind of, general manager speak for us.
That's not me, mate. That's not me.
So this whole draft thing, right? It's gripping. I love it. It's a really cool idea. Like when you first heard that was going to be it, Where did you go to on that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I thought NBA. Like, there's nothing really, well, it hasn't ever happened in New Zealand. So yeah, that's where my mind first went. And yeah, like you, it's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting. I think that the players, to be involved in something like that's pretty cool. Yeah, 100%.
Did you have to think to yourself, geez, I'm actually going to be involved in a draft here. Like I need to have like a draft board. I'm just thinking like how I think when I'm doing fantasy basketball drafts and stuff like that. I'm like, right, I need to get my shit sorted. I need some type of whiteboard that I write things down on. Yeah. Have you focused on that? Have you kind of gone out of the way to create a draft board?
I'm thinking about the 90 seconds on the clock.
Yes.
I'm thinking about that and the pressure, and then if someone picks someone that we weren't expecting, and then what's our processes and all that. But we have a bit of a depth chart and a whiteboard, and we're kind of working through that as the regos are coming through. We're kind of just sussing that all out. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty intense on the night. But it'll be awesome.
How long ago did you and your team start thinking, oh shit, this is who we're going to draft, this is who we're going to have here, this other team's going to draft this play?
Yeah. Well, it's still a little bit up in the air, to be fair, because player registration's only open yesterday, and obviously there's been a massive turnout, including potentially someone.
Yeah. Pretty amazing guys. Yes.
And it's gonna be open for a good 10 days. And the other thing that kind of makes things a little bit tricky to predetermine too much is the fact that there is going to be a top 14 selected by the league, and we can only select 2 out of the top 14. So, I mean, we could pick X, Y, Z right now and think that we got our team sus, but if we've got 5 guys that we want in the top 14 and we can only get 2 of them, then, change of plans. So we got to kind of wait a little bit until we see who those top 14 guys are, and we'll have to kind of piece in around that.
How does the draft order work? I haven't seen too much of it. Obviously, I'm over in Australia, but how does is it out of the spinning ball, the lottery, or how's the draft order working?
So there will be a pre-selection process after the registrations close. So
sorry, man. Yeah.
No, you're good. There's heaps of people that are.
Terrible question. You can be honest, Matt. It's a terrible question. Worded it horribly.
So the the registration process will happen. Then you can pre-select players prior to actually draft night.
Yep.
How did what? Whoa! What? What? So
see, you rank them, right?
Right, you rank them.
Rank them.
Can you bags players before the draft even happens?
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
Hope so.
So great question.
Yeah. So you
just worded terribly, but I'm sorry.
So we can pre-select players prior to draft night, and then they can either commit to us or not and go into the draft pool. And then in terms of what team gets what pick, that will be based on the pre-selection rosters and who the league thinks has got a strong team and whatnot. So they'll, I suppose, based on the pre-selection process, they'll be like, Huskies are loaded, and we need to kind of give them a few lower picks.
Well, Matt, the Huskies could be loaded. You know what I'm saying?
They could be very loaded.
They could be very loaded.
Are we saying all 3, or are we?
Yeah.
Rodman.
Yeah.
So what's the like? Can you give me a little bit of background to your like playing career?
Do I start, or do we go Blake? Well, Matt, I mean, I think the pre-roll video that I released the other night is some pretty good evidence that I have played around the world, even if that is online. But in terms of real kind of hustle on the court, I mean, I captained the Campion College the team to the first victory actually over Gisborne Boys High. We were a small school. And Gisborne Boys High is always the giant killers. You know, they're massive. They go and play nationals and stuff like that. But we were the first time that Campion College ever beat Gisborne Boys High. And that was partly because, inspired by the great Dikembe Mutombo, I really got in there and played some defence. And there was a couple of drives that came in.
The finger?
Yeah, a couple of fingers were waved. In fact, I got called into the principal's office the next day and said, look, you guys have created history. You're really, really good, but we really want to portray good sportsmanship. And I was like, man, fuck that noise. I'm gangster. We just beat Boys High. It didn't go down well. So I do have anger problems. And then I did go on to play for the Gisborne Rising Suns in the second division. We lost our first game. It was a warm-up against the Hawks. I don't know what they came up to Gisborne for to bully us. They were a first div team. And then I really got put off, and I'm hoping no one's watching from Gisborne at the moment. I really got put off basketball there for a bit because our coach, he was a player coach, Ray Noble. He would always make me mark up on him on defense, and I was just a young, good-looking young man. I was full of life. I was ready to go for the NBA draft, but he was just this big, sweaty, hairy bastard of a man that just kept backing down on me, and I just hated the sweat. It was all sweaty,
Right.
and when you've got lots of hair on your body, it holds sweat, and he'd like go back into me and be like, just wet me, and I was like, I'm done, and that kind of put me off basketball for a while. But I've hustled here and there, and I still think there's a good post game in me, and plenty of defense, kind of like a Dylan Boucher, but not as good looking. Would probably be my description of my hustle.
Interesting. That's I'll have to take a look at that video.
Sorry, Blake. Did you want to pitch yourself?
Oh no, man! I'm just not much basketball. I'm sort of like a Rodman, like the party, bring the team together, team morale.
He's a headline guy, eh?
Yeah.
Headline guy.
Hey, I'm gonna get on there. I'm gonna do my job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my job. That's what you need to know. I'll go above and beyond for the team. Whether it be nights out or on the court, wherever we are, for the team.
Tell them about your Vegas story, Blake. Tell them about your Vegas story.
The Vegas story?
Oh, I went there the first time, knocked it out. The second time did a moonwalk, tripped over into a bathroom and smashed my 2 teeth. And, went home. So
you're out, that's the Rodman?
Yeah, so Rodman.
Yeah. Right.
I've got to go back a third time so I can do that during training camp. And bring some of the boys if you want, just to get that morale.
Yeah, yeah.
And Matt, my appeal to your team is I'm cap space. That's my appeal to any team because I've got no job at the moment. I'll pay for $100 a week. So cap space is good.
Okay.
No one waves a towel like me.
Yeah.
I know that when players are coming off the court, I'll want a high five, but in these COVID times, I'll present forearm to do that. So protocol, cap space, morale.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Damn, we might have 3 guys to look at here.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
And also, too, look, I'm not going to take anyone's minutes. So that's harmony, and the team is for harmony. So there we go.
I'm not a fan of harmony. I'm not a fan of harmony. Just an FYI.
Matt, as I was reading it, so the players as they get drafted in an order, it actually matters where you get drafted because is it true there's a pay scale for each one? So all the number 1 players will be the highest paid, the number 2's the next one down. So it'll go like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you'll probably be 8, 9, 10. Just to manage, pay scale and obviously to meet your expectations based on that pitch right there. But you're right. It kind of works its way down.
Matt, in all honesty, this to me is a breath of fresh air in a sport that has been dominated by NBA. Like, let's be honest, as much as we do enjoy Matt Walsh and the Breakers and what they've done and how they've created a great atmosphere here in Auckland, the ultimate is the NBA, and we can't help but be drawn to it and watch it. What this has done, though, the NBA is gone, and it's breathing fresh air into it by giving us the draft experience, which is really cool. The teams are going to be ridiculously even, which I know is probably the holding up reason for some of the other teams not wanting to be a part of it because they don't have that power to be, to create their own team and just absolutely dominate the league. But it's good. For us, it gives our imagination a real blast. We're like, wow, this is cool. We get to be involved with it. For you, when you see comments like Corey Webster came out today on Twitter and he's like, oh man, none of the good players are here. Is that a party pooper attitude to you, or is that someone who's like, has he got a good point and we shouldn't be so excited by this?
Well, I guess for me, look, all the players have their own reasons not to play, and it's their livelihood and it's their own personal decision. So I fully respect that. But I guess like you're excited by this. You're kind of interested in this, and you're obviously not the only person. So I guess if there's no real need to kind of be a dampener on. It's not really affecting anyone else. So kind of get behind or just kind of chill out and do your thing, and we'll respect that, and you respect us, and we'll be good to go. But look, I think that the players, have their own voice, and they certainly should use that and make their own decisions. But I think that there's obviously a huge amount of talent out there that do want to be involved. And if anything, I think that New Zealanders are for the first time in a long time are going to see just the type of talent that we do have in this country. And you just see the number of kids going to the US on basketball scholarships, which has just exploded. And that that isn't just an accident. That's year on year. So we've got guys, willing to play in this thing that are going to be going to Division 1 universities, that are going to be playing at high level teams in a year, 2 years time. And I suppose it's an opportunity for everyone to see what that talent looks like coming through.
Can you give us a couple of players that you're looking at, maybe just to tease us a bit, maybe get something out? Or
what about ones who everyone will be looking at? Maybe that one. That might be it.
Yeah.
Who's one that every...
Yeah. So one guy that came out today, for example, Tohi Smith-Milner, is a tall black. I actually went to school with him at Rosmini, so I know him pretty well.
Oh, inside oil. I like that.
Yeah.
So he's one. I mean, there's a bunch of guys, for example, from Southland, right, that no one can actually pre-select, that they're going to be in the draft. So Dom Kamamputo and Tom Vodonovich and guys like that. So, I think the last count was like 11 tall blacks, either kind of current or former.
Oh, nice.
Formers? Is Ed Book in there? Has Ed Book put his name in? You said former. Ed Book. Sorry, that was a throwback from the past.
I think so. I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to really talk about it. But
Okay.
From what I know, I think he's put his name in.
Oh yes. Oh, so do that nostalgia pack, because I mean, like I saw there's some really impressive bigs that are around. I saw Sam Timmins today, which was cool to have him in. So for those of you that are listening, not sure if you go, why do I know that name? His dad played rugby for Otago on the Highlanders for ages, giant of a guy, and his son is an even giant version of him, who's been, I think was he at Northwest? He was in one of the universities there in the States. Washington, sorry, and Jack Salt as well. So there's some really impressive bigs that we've got coming around in this.
Yeah, 100%. And I think all those guys, that's a testament again to the college system that has kind of exploded. Now they're all coming back. So they're all dudes that have finished their 4 years, they've graduated, they've got their degrees, they've got that experience of playing in front of 15, 20,000 fans every night in their home gyms, and now they're coming back to New Zealand to showcase, how they've improved and all that. So yeah, heaps of bigs, and a ton, just a ton of talent across the board.
That's awesome, man. That's so good.
I just want to ask one more question. I know that the breakers aren't available, but I know Ty Wesley. I think Ty Wesley is not Ty Wesley. Ty Webster, sorry, is back at the moment. Is he making himself available for the draft? Do you know, or does he still hold aspirations to be playing overseas and it's an insurance thing?
Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, I think the insurance is pretty close to being finalized. So hopefully, when that's sorted, some of these bigger names that have got international contracts might reconsider or might just look at it in a different light. But Ty, I think, is in a position where he's again just weighing up what he wants to do. At this stage, he hasn't entered, I understand, but I might give him a little bit of a push, although
because his dad, I think his dad's assistant coach somewhere too.
Yeah, he's probably going to play for the bloody Bulls. I don't know.
Yeah, do that. Yeah. Boy, let's get over here. Okay.
Let's look at the championship and focus in on that, guys. I mean, we're all in this together, aren't we, man? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, mate. Hey, all the very best for Thursday and for the season, and hopefully we get to hang out and see it all happen. Just make sure if you got the Huskies hat already and the shaking of the hand.
It's coming.
Cool. Is it Onu? Are you using Onu Sportswear?
Yeah.
Inside word, man. Inside word. I might not even need to get drafted to get a cap. You know what I'm saying? No. All good, mate. Hey, thank you so much. All the best. And like you said, we're all excited about it, man. It's going to be, it's something different. It's something new. And God, man, we've been waiting for something fresh and new. So awesome.
Yeah, sweet guys. Appreciate it, guys.
Okay, mate. Thank you.
Let's go. I like that, the 90-second pick clock. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, what might be funnier is if it went like basketball and it was only 24 seconds and just watching them freak out and trying to get their picks done. That would be cool.
Yeah.
But then you can end up some pretty disastrous teams.
I thought he was going to be an elderly man, or like at least 50, or I don't know why. I just thought GM.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You think general managers are all kind of all
go getter.
Wow.
Is that that's a fresh shave. That's all lined up too. That is all lined up.
Brother, it was been a long time in lockdown. I was starting to look like fucking. What's that fellow? Fucking. What's that movie? Wilson.
Oh, old Castaway.
Yeah. I was starting to look like him.
Bro, straight up though, like it, because I started getting a little funky with mine, but my line started to drop even further because I kept messing it up, and I take a chunk out and I go, oh, fuck, and then I had it like a line, and then I went to my barber's when it all opened up, and they're like, come here.
Yeah, fuck it. Well, a few of the boys aren't too happy. This old white fella come in. He's not a barber. He's like a hairdresser.
Yeah.
Come in and faded a few of the boys up, and yeah, they weren't too happy. So Rogers sussed some fella to drive up from Sydney to fix their fades.
Oi, who said he was a hairdresser though? Like, who said he was a barber, or did he just roll into the hotel?
The thing is, our female doctor sussed him out, and because we've been in lockdown for like 6 weeks, no one like to cut our hair. We come straight over.
Yeah.
Well, everyone was just looking fucking caveman. So we were like, oh, yo. Well, everyone got a cut, and yeah, fuck, the boys weren't too happy, eh?
Oh, mate, looks good. Looks flash. All right, let's go live now then. Sweet. So, Jazz, thank you so much for joining us, brother. Mate, looking flash, looking good. Just finished dinner?
Yeah, just finished dinner. Finished the feed.
What was on the menu tonight?
We had shredded lamb and broccoli, like a broccoli salad, broccoli almond salad. I didn't see Ayshford.
Nah, I was on a diet.
You ordered some pizza, you fit shit.
He's on the black label,
bro. You know the thing about Aish, bro. So he's obviously works for Sky Sport, and he's walking around with like a GoPro and shit, like recording everything. Bro, you're training hard as, and this guy's always got M&Ms in his pocket.
Oh.
So he's training while you're training hard. He's like in your face eating M&Ms, fucking with his GoPro. I'm like, fuck off.
What a sad. That's sad.
Peanut ones.
Peanut ones, bro.
I don't know, man. Greeny's been cooking for him. So Greeny's been friend of the show, Blake Green, obviously above Jazz, cooking up a burger, cooking up some Mexican. And obviously, Jazz is trying to lose some weight because he's obviously blown up a bit, as you can see, chubby face. So they're,
I've always had chubby cheeks.
He's really trying to help him.
That's boyish charm, those cheeks. So what's the deal, man? What's the how's it been? You must be going crazy. Just all the boys seeing each other over and over again. You guys must be losing the plot.
Well, at first it was pretty mean. Like, I hadn't seen the boys for a while. Good to get away from the family. Like, Blake was happy to come over, get away from his kids and that. So all the boys were having a good time. But now it's just kind of getting like, fuck, sick of these cunts.
But you know, that's so it. That is so it. And I think everyone watching will feel the same way. You'll get to that stage where you're just like, oh, fuck, that's right.
Yeah.
That's why we all go off on Christmas holidays and everyone sort of gets away. But no, that's cool. So how is it pretty strict? Like, Blake's been telling us stories about how you can walk down to a certain
clean
area.
Clean zone and dirty zone.
Clean zone.
Yeah.
Put shoes on. Does it make sense to you, Jazz? Have you thought about it and gone, man, this doesn't make any sense?
Mate, it's so stupid. Like, they think the coronavirus is lying on the footpath. It's like, we got to change a pair of shoes. Like, you're not allowed to walk into the mess area with your dirty shoes on. Like, you got to change a pair of shoes. Every morning, you got to get up and fill out like 2 apps, say where you've been. Like, they already know where we've been. We've been to bloody training. Take our temperature and shit. It is pretty crazy, but I mean, that's the protocols that were put in place to get the game up and running. So I just got to handle it.
I think that's how we've looked at it too. It's been, look, if this means rugby league gets back underway, then fill out the apps, change your socks, do all that kind of stuff. And that in the sense that it doesn't even make sense, but we're going with it. Hey, we just had a guy on the show who is the general manager of a basketball team, the Huskies, the Auckland Huskies over here for the NZNBL. And they're doing a draft toy. So they've decided that this year they're going to throw all the players into a pool, and then all the New Zealand NBL teams are going to do like a proper NBA draft
of everyone
on the teams and do it. I mean, I know you're a man of the world, a sporting man. So how does that make you feel? Are you excited by that prospect?
Yeah, well, I seem like it's good. It's like a little mini NBA draft, but you know, for the locals. So no, it's a good little. I didn't hear about that until now. So I reckon it's a good idea, especially for them.
You'd like to throw your name in the hat, wouldn't you? You fancy yourself a bit on the basketball court?
Because we are.
I'm having ankle problems at the moment, so I might have to leave that up to you, Blake.
Oh, we're all in the draft. Don't worry, we've already registered.
We've put ourselves in. Anyone's allowed to.
So anyone can enter the draft, so you could go on there now.
Straight up.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyone can. So we were like, that year I was in the draft.
Because they might not do another draft always. So the coolest thing about this is you can say, "Oh, I missed out on the draft of 2020.
Yeah.
I was
Bro,
close."
have you actually entered?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, fuck, that's funny.
I've got a good pitch though, Jazz, because mine is, I said, because I've got no job right now, so I need money. So I'll pay for $100 a week, which means I'm like cap space, you know? So that's my thing. So you'll sign me, you have to pay me next to nothing as long as I get a hat. And then you'll be able to pay your top guy more. That's kind of my appeal. I think it's a different pitch. I think everyone else is going with what they can do on the court, but I'm promising never to get on it. So that's my thing.
Sign you for a 10-dayer.
Yeah.
10-day contract.
Yeah.
That's all you want, hey man. Like that's something. I mean, if you could say to your great grandkids that I was drafted with. I was
in the same year I played in the NBA and
they wouldn't understand what bloody year. They wouldn't understand what.
Nah, just say you were drafted.
Was.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was
telling you, Superman.
Yeah.
Although I went the other way, I was like, it's all about me. I'm a franchise player. which is ruining my chances because if there was ever a chance I ever got on the basketball court again, I'd just be like, oh, this is horrible. I don't want to be doing this. I'm hoping
they're all really tall.
Yeah. How's it go, bro? Thursday, it's all on. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the NRL is getting back underway. Is that that's crazy to me. Like that.
It is crazy. Like, you know, there was a point in time during the year when we were at home. I was thinking, fuck, we might not even play again this year. Like, I might have to go look for a job, like go back to labouring or doing some shit. It was scary, but props to NRL, man. They did it. Are we the first sport on? Like,
football, bit of Bundesliga.
German soccer.
Main sport.
Yeah, down here you will be. There's no other sports down here, right?
Yeah, no. So, man, it's crazy.
So you guys
will be watching.
Is Aussie rules back soon or what?
Nah, end of June.
Oh, okay.
So it'll go the league boys Thursday, and then next Saturday is Super Rugby gets underway. But just the New Zealand Super Rugby Aotearoa will be the only sort of sport that everyone gets to think. So that's cool, man. I'm excited. I'm getting the old TAB app back up and running. You know, the old cheeky punt off to the side. And with this NBL, they're going to do 5 games a week. I'm led to believe. So there's going to be 5 days. They're playing 5 days a week. So there's going to be games every night. So sports just going to.
Who's the teams? Is it just like Auckland, Christchurch?
No, there are a couple of teams that haven't gone into it. The Hawke's Bay Hawks aren't, the Southland Sharks and the Wellington Saints.
Yep. But then apart from that,
the rest are in.
Auckland Huskies, they're called now too. The Huskies.
The Huskies.
We were talking before about jiu-jitsu because I went and had a roll with Jimmy and Dano today.
Yeah.
And I got choked out by Jimmy with the old shirt around the neck trick.
Yeah.
And what does it feel like? Because you've also been made feel real little by that choke.
Yeah. The thing about Jimmy, like, we got to train at Jimmy, obviously. I love taking the piss out of him. He's a tough bastard. He's got those big cauliflower ears, like scars on his face. You just know he'll.
Oh, that guy.
He's that guy. But I love winding him up because I know he won't touch me, and I'm just like, walk around pussy, stuff like that. But when we had wrestling, he wanted to wrestle with me, and I knew, I was saying, fuck, this cunt is going to fuck me up. So Aisha's standing there with the camera purposely, and I'm just like, fuck. And then he tapped me out, and so the round was 4 minutes, and he tapped me out, like, honest to God, like 10 times. Like, every lock you could think of, he'd put me in. And it is uncomfortable, man.
But funny.
10
and frustrating
times,
too.
That's not much for 4 minutes for a dude who can throw. Do you know what I mean? Like that he.
Well,
yeah.
I'm not no pusher, mate.
Yeah.
So I always tell him, bro, because it's wrestling. I'm like, bro, if there's punching involved, bro, you'll be gone.
Mate, it's the best one because he just goes, mate, hey, if we're on the ground, you've got me, but I'll never let it get there. I'll drop you before
that's what I always say.
It is the best.
That's my excuse. I'll say, yeah, whatever.
We were discussing the kind of. I think you get to maybe it's not the same for you just because you play rugby league, but for Nate and I especially, you kind of get to an age where you stop sort of mucking around with dudes. In high school you're always punching and beating each other up, and there was sort of that moment, and then you go through a certain period in your life where no one challenges you. You're the man of your house. You kind of your kids are sort of too young to be able to challenge you, and then you jump into a situation where there's a dude who can just and you're like, it's like a real kind of...
my arm.
Yeah, it's a real kind of leveler, and it's real kind of humbling. You sit there and go, oh, man, that dude could end my life if he wanted to. And it's kind of, you kind of walk out of it going, no, I'm just going to go over there. It's good for you. Yeah, it's good. It's good to be. It's good to be. So what's the plans over the next couple of days? Like, have you been told? Have you got your sheet in front of you of how everyone's building up and stuff?
Yeah, bro. So obviously trained today and yesterday. Boys had a late one tonight. Day off tomorrow. Tomorrow's more of like a recovery day. Get in the pool, yoga, whatever. Train Thursday, and then I think a light captain's on Friday, and then only I think it's only 20 players obviously can go to the game. The rest of us have to stay back at the hotel. We'll probably train in the morning and then try and sneak a few beers and watch the boys.
Nice.
Yeah, joking.
Will you be allowed to watch it together by then, or do you still have to be in those little mini pods that you're?
So we're not allowed to go into each other's rooms, but
you're watching a team room or something.
Yeah, team room.
Yeah.
And then we'll just sit
put the big screen up.
It's crazy how back here. I heard
that 19th and 20th man are going to be the ball boys for the game.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and they're also people delegated to be in the stands to
when the ball goes up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So not the players, because that's a dirty zone. So the players, the 19th and 20th men, are on the field as ball boys. And
so it's not Marcs. Who is it then? Who's up there? Is that you?
Oh no, they're supposed to get people, like the club's supposed to allocate people.
Question. Right. What happens when the ball goes into the stand? Does it then get thrown back, cleaned, because it comes out of the dirty zone, then it has to be cleaned, and then it goes back to the field?
Oh. Yeah.
Is that how it's going to work?
I'm sure they have a couple of footies, and they'll probably have to, some fellas will have to wash it or some shit.
Because they had that dude with the chili bin.
Bowl. Yeah, it's going to do that again. Wash the ball and chuck it back to the next person, the ball boy. They chuck the other ball in, wash, bang.
It just makes such little sense, doesn't it? But I mean, again,
because no one's in the stands or been in the stands for how long?
Yeah. And I've no doubt those stands would have been sprayed and cleaned before you guys even get to go in there. It makes no sense. But hey, we're not going to argue with it so long as we get some NRL back up and running. That's the main thing. What's the most annoying habit that Aish brings to the squad? Having him around, other than M&M's in his pocket.
Bro, I don't know. There's just, like there's just people that you see and that you just don't like. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know what about it, but just his face just pisses you off.
Yeah,
that's Aish. Like when I see him, in the gym, I'm like, fuck, not this dude again. I don't know. It's just his
so he brings motivation.
Barely.
Yeah. Motivation.
Bro, you should see him when he's. Have you seen him when he's standing in his bloody speedo? Or that little fucking outfit? Oh man.
It's tough.
Cringe as.
It's tough to watch, but I mean, he's building his next part of his career on that.
If I look like that at that age, someone shoot me, please.
You're gonna be like that. You're almost like that now.
He sent me a photo.
You two don't laugh. Use it with me too.
Can I put a photo up on here?
Yeah. You can chuck a photo up. Just go.
How do I do that?
You can go share. I think. What do you go? You go share screen.
I know what
I
can't do it.
You can't do it. That's all right. You can upload it as a background.
It's just me.
You send it to Mark and then we'll put it up.
Yeah, send it
I'll send it right now. I'll send it right now.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, so I send it to you. That's what we're doing.
Let me just log in. Just while we're waiting for him to send it, wet and horrible with a chance of an earthquake in the Hutt Valley. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you for the weather update. Aiden says, when you fellas get picked in the draft, you'll get the share of the pay-per-view too. That's right.
Oh, they're selling it.
We missed that whole thing. Blake, you wouldn't have heard this because you're in Australia.
Oh,
you can buy the Cells NBL. See, I do sponsorships as well. But you can buy. I think in the UK, if you buy, you can £7 buys you the whole season to watch online over there. So you don't have to worry about, you know what I mean? Like it's obviously not going to be on TV.
People buy it though?
I don't know. I guess they're hoping that some New Zealanders might be up there, or just some people out there that just want to watch something live. Because the way things are going now, like when you guys get back to New Zealand, it's going to be, I don't know how quickly things are opening in Australia, but it's pretty crazy. Like, so from Friday, we're allowed gatherings over 100. I know that the sports teams are being told that to try and prepare for a way that you might be able to have, say, 7,500, 7,500 in your oh my lord.
Where's the other one?
Where's the other one? That is disgusting.
Fantastic.
Hey, that's at its best.
Gold.
That's about 4 months
gold,
after retirement. 4 months after retirement, you can rest a beer on your belly. What else do you need in life? Honestly, who needs a table?
Blake, you're a wonderfully put together man. Don't you ever feel like you're not?
That is awesome.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there we
Thanks,
go. And
Jaz.
Ivan Nelson's just tuned in and he says, I'm sorry, boys, that was my first night back at rugby training tonight. All right. So there's a lot of that sort of happening, right? So I know they're trying to work at the moment. I think I saw one of our mates, Josh Price, reported the other day that a lot of the clubs around New Zealand are trying to figure out a way that they can have a crowd of, like 7.5 at least 7.5K. So, man, we might have crowds for you guys to come back and play. Like maybe you'll be able to play at Mount Smart. Go come over here then. There's a crowd. Deal with it.
I hope so, man. I hope so. It'll be good to get crowd because that's what gives you energy in the games. Like you do something mean and then the crowd's roars and you're like, yeah. This is
you were quoted on saying. You've been quoted all through the news over here by saying that. They twisted it. The mainstream media twisted it. They're like, oh, Jazz not keen to play in front of no fans and shit like that. Like they turned that little wee comment that you made, which is innocent and makes 100% sense. People would say? Exactly what he just said then. Like the energy that you get from the crowd. Like it's probably going to be a bit. I can't remember the exact words you used, and I won't try and put them in your mouth. But it was along those lines.
I remember saying that.
What did you say?
I said that I love playing in front of crowds because it gives you energy. Mm-hmm. Like no one wants to play in front of like with an empty stand,
and that's what they took. That's what they took.
And I did say, I said, but if we get to play footy, if that means we get to play footy, then
No, they missed those. They conveniently chopped the two bits out that you added, the start bit and the last bit. It just went, no one wants to play in front of no crowds. Yeah. And that was where it got coded. And I was like, oh, I'm sure there's probably a little more than that, but that's how it works.
He probably would have said something like that. He's the type of bloke to say that.
All right, well that's going to be us. Thanks so much for stopping by, Jez. I know you've got plenty on. Considering you've got,
good, man.
You're
I always wanted to jump on. I always told Blake, get me on.
Well, it's been good.
Pleasure being on, boys.
Mark, keep coming on, and I know that what you're really looking forward to when it comes to crowds being back is coming down on the field and doing pukana cam and throwing those shirts out and ghosting at the last second. Ghosting at the last second.
Oh, that's right. I left you and Johnny.
Yeah, it was
that was a beauty.
It was like Daisy was like, no, he's coming. And then I saw you come out of that little office that sits up there, and I saw you and you looked, and then you just disappeared. I was like, he ain't coming. Johnny can fire a good barrel though.
Got use a beauty.
All good, mate. Hey, all the very best. Stay safe. Thank you.
Cheers, boys. Take it easy,
Cheers. Thank you. See you, Jez. That's an awesome.
I'll see you in a couple of hours.
I was doing when I think it was the first year of the Auckland Nines, because my old mate Dean Lonergan organised that, and so he did a thing with us like we were supposed to have some of the players to be able to do things, right? So it was like going around and visiting the boxes, corporate boxes, taking people around, going here's blah blah blah, and you do that, standing with them, and we were supposed to have Bully, and Bully didn't show up. It's like what? And then we could see him in the crowd, and they went, oh, I'll ring him. And he did the classic look at his phone and put it back in his pocket. And then he did it again. But then as we're looking at him from the other grandstand, he types in, oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm back at the team hotel.
That's funny. That's funny. Hey, thank you, Blake. Thank you for getting Jez on. And thank you guys for watching. He's such good value, and I just wish he could be that raw all the time with everything because he's got such a great personality. Like I am drawn to him. He's the type of dude. He's the type of dude at school that I would just go straight to because he makes me laugh. He's funny. He's good value. He's just a classic guy that you kind of everyone knew what someone like him at school and you wanted to hang out with him because he's funny. It's just how it is. So thank you for getting him. And you go.
Oh man, that's I was going to say. Sorry, mate. I was just going to say we keep cutting out. I was going to say that's what. He's like the Warriors team are going to miss him because they really need him because he's the sort of bloke that you need in your team, like someone who's just going to take no shit. Like you can see obviously the swearing that he doesn't put on. It's just how he talks, and he'll go out there and flog someone, and he's not even that big, but he just does his job. But the thing here is you ask all the boys who's the biggest pest, and it's Jazz. But who do you like hanging around with the most? It's Jazz.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's also a poker shark too. So
Is he?
don't play poker with him.
One of
He's
them.
quite good at shaker.
Fuck, how can we do a game of poker one Friday night? Sorry, I always come up with these ideas. And shit, we've got to talk to our Lady of the Night friend as well sometime in the next couple of days.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, just quite the biggest rugby league story of the day though. The game that keeps on giving, just kept giving. So 20. So this is 24 hours ago. This is Bronson Cherry. 24 hours ago on NRL.com. Jeezy runs fast. He rivals the Fox in pace. And then today, it turned out that it came out he tested positive for 4 different banned substances that all end in the word own or een. And as you know, een means good time, own means go fast. So there's quite a few.
Which also
owns.
can be good time, but no.
Yeah, it can be good time on there too, mate, as well. So Blake, I don't know, like that one comes around. Is it just like a whole? Oh, come on, you guys, we're nearly there. We're nearly there, please. Because they reckon there's going to be another. I saw Molly tweeted there's going to be another one, maybe.
It's just like we spoke about the other time. It is the NRL. Something was going to happen.
I don't know.
Wasn't it?
I don't actually know.
I don't feel bad.
No, neither do I. I don't actually
bad.
care.
No.
I don't actually care. The dude's
like,
taking drugs to get faster. Like, it's in a sport. Like, to me, it's you're not allowed to do that. It's not a, oh man, he's just gone and slept with 2 schoolgirls, or he's, it's not a.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the whole. I can
Look
understand you.
Look at us deviating between the headlines. Oh no, that's fine. Like, it's a slap on the wrist. It's
like
2 seasons. It's
We get the shits. Like, obviously, if you're a player like this dog, like cheating to be getting paid this much,
Yeah.
But it is like when we spoke about it, we're like, someone's going to get caught doing something stupid, like the day after. Like, this isn't what we expected. Like someone going out and getting caught bloody drinking after a game or not social distancing. So it's a pass, but it's not a pass.
And it's been a while though that they've known this result, right? This is pretty strategic to release it a couple of days before the season relaunches.
Yeah.
It's strategic. This is trying to derail.
It's pretty shit if it was.
Mate,
is
it all those other
shit
sports trying to derail?
Yeah.
Whoever, I don't know who released it. I don't know that. I haven't seen the article. I haven't read it. But if it's a rugby league journo, I'll be pretty pissed off if they've released it because obviously 3 days or 2 days before the game, obviously got tested in November. I'm pretty sure the test doesn't take January, February, March, April, May, 5 months or whatever to come back.
I wouldn't think it does either. I also think they probably ran out of Cleary videos. They've run out of other things. The players have all been locked up, so there's no off-field stories they can go to. Let's throw out this one then. And to be fair, as a fan of sport and fan of rugby league, it's disappointing, but it's not one of those ones that makes me go, outrageous.
No. I mean, he could always not use steroids. There's always that. There's a good way not to tell that story as well.
There's that as well.
That's the other way that you usually don't do it. With that, but I was just thinking too, and I had a look because I stuck up on our Mark Beard Sports Facebook page and said, "What do you reckon? Is it a year suspension? What do you think?" Someone actually pointed out too, like, well, shouldn't he get what Sandor Earl got? Because that whole fallout a few years ago, it seemed that poor old Sandor Earl was the dude that copped all of it, right? Is what I think. So
Technically, he probably should.
It's got to be a decent ban because you just can't be having your drugs in there. But I agree, it's not a gross one. It's a well, you did. But I mean, what is he? He's 19, 20 years old or something like that. So
bloody work too. It's worked a treat.
A couple of years and you can do that. Yeah.
2 years, I reckon.
2 years.
I think he might get 2 years.
2 years.
You get 2 years for like cocaine and weed and stuff like that. So,
but cocaine doesn't make you as fast as the Fox, mate.
Yeah, I know, but that's just they're trying to stop it. But I reckon
it makes you feel like you're as fast as the Fox.
2 to 4.
Yes,
yeah.
2 to 4.
Yeah.
No, there we go. We'll put a 2 to 4 bracket on it. Hey, thank you guys all for watching.
Silly boy. Yes.
Really quickly. So, as you well have known, we're not doing shows on Monday. Wednesday. Well, I just say we're doing shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we're introducing some other shows as we go along. Some whānau of the Mark Beard Sports page, and it's going to be exciting. We've got cricket offerings, we've got rugby league offerings, we've got the full 90 boys who you would have seen earlier today. We're all coming together. We're giving you sport. We're giving you sport for free.
David Solomona on Thursday.
Yes. Love them. Very quick sporting headlines. There is some live football on. It is the Bundesliga. It is Dortmund and Bayern that are going to be playing. College sports can come back and play. I think Christchurch's first 15s fires up around June 20. So it is. And yeah, Molly reckons there's another one. Mind you, Molly does reckon quite a bit. But look at that. Draft that man. Draft that guy. Draft us. Draft us.
I might take some steroids if I get drafted.
Yeah, should you?
So
if you've got any steroids,
yeah,
let me know.